If you're a listener of From the Mouths of Madness podcast, I can only assume that you're also a die-hard fan of horror movies like myself. My name is Matt Balea, and I own a company called To Die For. We make custom horror-inspired designs for shirts and much more. From original to exclusive content, we can get you whatever it is your dark heart might desire. Check us out at www.todieforshop.com. That's the number 2, die, the number 4, shop.com. Enjoy the show.
The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors. Listeners, beware. Come straight from the Mouths of Madness. I'm Lowdown.
F.U. Hunter. What's up, you book-loving bitches?
Book-loving bitches. And, it's that time of year again, folks. It's September. You know what happens in September? Stephen King. Yay! Yeah.
A year older and 3 more book releases.
Yeah. I haven't read any of those. I don't know.
I can assure you the new short story collection is fantastic. It has some real bangers in it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take your word for it. It's just, as he's gone out in later years, there's been some...
It's really hit or miss.
Yeah. And so, I'm a little more... But I get it. Like, I almost like instead of getting like the occasional... Not the occasional, but instead of getting less consistent bangers, maybe wait longer or stop.
Look,
I'm sorry. Like, I know telling an artist to stop is crazy, but it's like, bro.
As you go through that many properties, I mean, look, Steven Spielberg directed Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. There's artists that have amazing stuff, and they have some shitters in there. Yeah, all right, exactly. It just happens. Okay,
exactly.
I mean, The Simpsons should not be on the air anymore.
But but with King's career, it's like that didn't start happening. I feel like until the early teens, maybe.
The 1990s had a couple of inessential works.
Fair.
Insomnia.
Yeah, Insomnia was rough to get through, dude.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. I mean, the story's good. It was just a struggle to get through. Fair enough. I forgot about that book.
Yeah. Your favorite Bag of Bones came out of that era as well.
You know, I think I enjoyed Bag of Bones more than Insomnia.
I will defend that one as a novel. As a film, it is terrible.
Oh, yeah, the Pierce Brosnan thing. Oh, and the film definitely, but the story could have been about 100 pages short of the Tommyknockers. Yeah. It didn't need to be that long.
No.
There was no reason.
Needed a better ending as well.
Truth. So yeah, fair enough. 90s, a couple, but all right. But tonight, in tradition, keeping up with tradition, we're going to be talking about films adapted from his short story collection. Now, we are starting to get into the realm where there's not enough adaptations out of one specific collection of short stories to do an episode on. Now, I say that this year. Next year, Nightmare and Dreamscapes, we got plenty.
Yep.
We got tons. After that is where we really start, having to mix some stuff together. So what we decided was the next one in the chronological order technically is 4 Past Midnight. But what we forgot about, which came out actually after Skeleton Crew, was the Bachman books. 4 not even novellas. They were like, well, I guess they're kind of novellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we figured let's throw in some Bachman stuff or Bachman adjacent stuff. So the other Bachman book that wasn't included in that was Thinner. So there's another one for us to go over. And Hunter's just chomping the bit for that movie.
Oh, man.
He's just dying. And to go along with Bachman, we have to bring in The Dark Half. Now, both of you said this is your first time watching it. You had read it.
Yes.
Though. Okay. So you knew the concept. You knew just Machine is just a nasty motherfucker, dude.
Yes.
Dude. Yeah. All right, so we're going to just start with the first adaptation, straight out of the Bachman books, 1987's The Running Man.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Damn it. Motherfucker. Directed by Starsky himself, Paul Michael. Is it Glazer or Glasser? I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter? Who cares? He's the one that did the cameo in the remake, right?
Yeah. And then after Running Man went on to direct Kazam. So for all you Kazam fans,
fuck off.
Is that the movie that's real or imagined?
No, that's
the real one. It's
the imagined one is Shazam with Sinbad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, unfortunately for Starsky, no, that was a movie.
Very much so real.
Yeah.
So The Running Man. All right, I want to just get this out of the way. it is not a King adaptation. Like, they just took the name almost at this point, and the dystopian future aspect, and then the name, and that is really all that is reminiscent, at least to me, of Stephen King's The Running Man.
Yeah, it's the Werner Herzog Bad Lieutenant situation. He took the title and the concept of the Abel Ferrara Bad Lieutenant and then just went in his completely own bonkers, insane direction with it.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened here. And just like Bad Lieutenant was a sordid film with a naked Harvey Keitel crying, this novel is full of plenty of brutality and horrible things and just an icky world you wouldn't want to spend any time in. Instead, we got an 80s, basically, prelude to American Gladiators.
Yes, 100%. And, Hunter has he's got 2 King adaptations that he loves to fuck with me with. This being one, Maximum Overdrive being the other.
Oh, yeah.
I had not watched this movie, I know, since it was late teen, early 20s. So we're going on, let's round it around to 20 years. I'm 40, so let's say 20. And watching it this time, I was like, okay, I don't know if it's because I'm older, but I actually saw what they were doing. They were just making a Schwarzenegger movie.
Exactly.
They were just making a Schwarzenegger movie.
It came out between Commando and Predator, right? It's just a short. And that's the thing is, that was news to me when I watched it the first time as a kid, that it was actually based on a Stephen King.
It's really not.
It's just a Schwarzenegger movie. He's in the future, you know? He wears tights. That's it.
It does kind of bury the lead if you're watching it that it's a Stephen King novel. It's credited to Richard Bachman, even though he had already been outed as Stephen King at that point. And apparently the director had no idea it was a Stephen King novel.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Really?
Does anybody know what Stephen King's opinion of...
King insisted the Bachman name be kept on it.
Okay.
I don't know what
what's
his opinion is
of the movie.
I have no idea.
I can't imagine he likes it. He likes so few of them.
He does. He loves everything Flanagan's done, though.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that later. But yeah, it really... So I think when I was younger, my main problem with this film was that I wanted a King adaptation. As him being... I can't argue, he's like my favorite author, and loving pretty much, I'd say 75% to 80% of his work. I was just so irritated that it was not the book at all. It was really one of those things where you put it in, it's like, this isn't the fucking Running Man. And I said, fuck this film. Going back this time, I was at least able to appreciate that they were just giving us a Schwarzenegger 80s action film that was just balls out ridiculous.
Probably the closest thing you get to the actual story is the scroll at the beginning of the setup.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, so we get credit that now Schwarzenegger movie the rest of the way.
Exactly. And I mean, the characters fucking dynamo. Gee, what?
Oh, they're amazing. They're
fuck
amazing.
was that?
Yes.
Golly, man, that was terrible. He's like, oh, stop the game, go to commercial. Really?
Domino, the electric one.
Dynamo, he's the opera singer. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the blown potential thing is definitely there because Stephen King's novella is just as dark as it gets, a really brutal and compelling story of survival. And this thing is so silly.
Yeah, it's so there's not one iota of seriousness.
No,
it's hard to take even the only kill I could take seriously was Buzzsaw because they chainsaw to the penis. That'll do it.
What about Sub-Zero?
No.
Now, Plane Zero.
Oh,
yes.
Fuck you, Hunter. Folks, if you ever wondered, you're a new listener, that's why he gets fucked. F you, Hunter.
So many stupid ass lines in this movie, and I love it.
That was a worse line than the Batman and Robin "Let's chill" line.
Yeah. Keep the pen. He stabs the pen in the back.
But the movie does have some great one-liners. Arnold riffing on his "I'll be back" is just amazing.
I mean, like I said, it's true. Between Commando and Predator, where he's gonna have some shit in there.
As much as I now understand that it's a Schwarzenegger film, both of those were better than this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just be real.
There's no way to compare this to Predator in any fucking way. Holy shit.
So, folks, I mean, really, if you want a good laugh and you just love spectacle, because there is spectacle.
Oh, glorious.
It has that going in spades. So if you want a good spectacle 80s action movie to add to, your repertoire of just schlock 80s action, this definitely fits the bill.
It's entertaining.
Yes, I'm saying it's entertaining.
It's like a Fast and Furious movie of the 80s.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, and it's great. It's mostly practical effects with like all kinds of bodybuilders and professional wrestlers. A true freak show to enjoy of people lifting other people over heads and throwing them, cutting each other in half with saws.
Well, Jesse Ventura. We even mentioned him.
If you ever want to see,
this was pre-Predator with Jesse Ventura. It's like,
if you ever want to see Jesse Ventura kill Arnold Schwarzenegger, they make it happen in this movie.
They do.
In a way.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm the best one now.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's plenty of synthesizers, ridiculous costume and prop design. Everyone is in these gold spandex leotards.
It's almost
just ridiculous.
Like the intro theme. It's almost like, hey, let's utilize the same synthesizer, I guess, skin or plug-in. I don't know what they called it back then, as they tried to like using Terminator.
Oh, well, Reiser, when we were talking about like that earlier, that like it's an 80s version of the future, where they just assume that some stuff's just going to carry on, as in the quote solid gold dancers at the beginning of the game show, where like it's like no, that went out in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's not going to continue in 2017. All right.
Yeah.
Televised aerobics videos. Jesse Ventura hosts one of them early on in it.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anymore.
No, nobody does that.
Him in that scene is just amazing. He's like, oh, feel it. Yeah. It's just, God damn it.
Oh, before we leave The Running Man, I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, this was the only adaptation out of the Bachman books.
For now.
For now. Well, there's out of the Bachman book collection, right? So
yeah, we have Rage, we have
Roadwork.
Long Walk, and Roadwork.
Yep.
Yes.
So now there is two things with this. There is a remake that has been announced in development, so it's not even pre-production yet, still storyboarding for a remake of The Running Man. And as of earlier today when I looked this up, it's still Edgar Wright set to direct.
Okay.
But also there is a Long Walk adaptation.
That is a rough one.
Oh, dude, that fucking story is just.
I remember y'all told me
there's not a single positive in that story.
No, nothing good about it. It's even more of a nightmarish world than anything else in the Bachman books. And all four of these are pure horror scenarios that are just
definitely a separation.
No fun.
Definitely a separation between King and Bachman, which was awesome. That's why he got away with it.
Yeah.
One guy said the violence and how visceral it was reminded him of King. Because when King gets violent under King, it's still hardcore, but like Bachman's just consistent.
It's next level violence and just pure indifference to humanity. One of the books is so grotesque, King himself pulled it out of circulation because it's about school shootings. And there's a spate of 90s ones that were inspired by it. So he's like, that one's off the table forever.
Yeah, I was reading that. He did that. He officially pulled it after Sandy Hook. And now that book, if you guys if listeners have a copy of that is worth
cha-ching
a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not a very good novel. He wrote it as a very young person, and it is juvenile as could be.
It's not a good book,
No.
The
Long Walk is fantastic, though, among his best and beloved by the fans. The Running Man is good, and Roadwork is one of them old novels that they don't make it like that anymore.
Yeah.
Pure pulp fiction.
Yeah. I don't know, because the Bachman book he wrote under Bachman between, like, was it 1975 and 1982?
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what year, which one came out, but I feel like that's got to be an older one.
Roadwork feels so 70s, everything about it.
Right?
It's like Death Wish light in its plotting and pacing, and
Ooh, Tarantino, do Roadwork. Tarantino hasn't adapted a King movie, King story. Can we get? Oh, dude. So it's being directed by Francis Lawrence, and for those that don't know him, he did the 4 of the Hunger Game films and some other like dystopian kind of futuristic fucking hellscapes.
Like Maze Runner or some shit? Or?
No, not Maze Runner.
Okay.
I mean, the brunt of his work, like the biggest things he did were the last 4. He did the newest one in 2023, and then the last 3 in the original series with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
Well, perfect. It is a YA dystopia.
But what's funny is when I first brought that up, we did a Stephen King episode back in the old GUI days when it was just GUI. That's the only show we had coming out. And I talked about, I wish Long Walk would get adapted. And in the conversation, this is back in like 2016, 2017, in the conversation, he said there's dystopian children games like fatigue, because we had all the Hunger Games. They tried the Divergent series. They had the shitty-ass Maze Runner movies. So there was just like a fatigue. And I was like, all right, in about 6 or 7 years, because they've run their course, I think it's time for a long walk. And I will repost that fucking episode if no one believes me. And bam, what do we got? We've got the guy doing the movies that we said was the reason they couldn't come out right now doing the fucking movie. The only other problem is it's produced by Lionsgate. And I don't trust them.
Yeah, their track record recently has not been
I don't trust them. And it should be done filming, but they haven't gotten a release date. So now there's some history behind that. Romero was originally approached in 1988. Now, 1988 Romero means we would have also, for the effects, because it's graphic, kids getting shot in the fucking head in that story, we probably would have gotten Savini on effects, potentially young Nicotero, because Nicotero's first movie was with Days of the Dead, which came out the year prior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like...
Would we have Savini, though? Because that's right when he was doing the Night of the Living Dead remake. It was right around that same time.
That came out in 90. Was it 90 or 91? So if he got approached in 88, it might have been able to work. You know what I'm saying? But that could have been, I think that could have been a potentially really good version of The Long Walk. Second person that got approached in 2007 was Frank Darabont. Now,
God damn
that would have been... God, I know.
It's all right. He already gave you one extremely brutal Stephen King adaptation.
I was going to say. Scour to the top endings of all time. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, this has been right up his alley. I mean, right up his alley.
Yep.
Then 2018, New Line Cinema bought it, and I guess Lionsgate bought it recently after that, and they New Line Cinema sold it because they couldn't get off the ground, because the only other person that was set to direct it was Andre Overdahl. In 2019, he was listed as a director, so that could have been, I don't know.
Yeah.
Frank Darabont and Romero where I'm at.
That's taunting. Anytime you.
But this movie had a bit of a long process. We're looking at 24 years roughly trying to get this shit made. So
that
yeah,
happens sometimes.
Yeah. But we got that to look forward to down the road. Sorry, I wanted to get that out because I feel like there's some really good people that could have been attached to this film.
No,
fuck. Next adaptation we have, which is written directly in result to him coming out and getting ousted as Bachman because some asshole ousted him basically through like blackmail. I forget the guy's name. It was a librarian. Mike, do you remember that guy's name?
I have no idea who it was, but it was a remarkable way that it was done, and it was absolutely...
Their response was awesome.
Borderline stalking, looking for King's name in certain documents that were affiliated with certain properties, contracts, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Real sleuthing.
They had it locked down. They used like some stock photo for the liner photo, so different.
Sounds.
Yeah, it was.
familiar.
As I recall, it was an electrician who worked on somebody's house affiliated with the King world.
Yeah, so that's fucking. It was brilliant. It was
Guy
brilliant.
in flannel being all pensive.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, actually his look fit like it was believable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they had got ousted, had to come out. They did it smart though. They came out publicly without having to go through any of the bullshit, right? And they played with it a little bit, and kind of like they do in the book. Again, it's almost like a fucking autobiography, right? And it's called The Dark Half, Film released in 93. I think the book was 90, 80, 88. It was 88. I think it was. And great. I love this book. Like, I really, really enjoyed this book.
Oh, yeah. It's among his tighter novels, especially from the era. Yeah, first printing was 1990. I believe this was the first sober one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was
legit. Actually.
Like,
let's make it. Yeah, stamp the mark on it.
I was right. It was 90. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. And of course, this is one of the two adaptations of King directed by George Romero.
Yep.
And Romero's there in the film. He wrote and directed it. So, you both, like I said, it's your first time seeing it. So I kind of want to let you guys dig into the story, the effects, how you feel about the film.
I thought practical makeup was really good. I thought the birds were not very good.
It was 90.
I know.
It's better than what we're going to next.
And I loved evil Timothy Hutton.
Oh, dude. Him as the Machine was badass, man.
He's such a fucking asshole. Even before the face-to-face confrontations. Yeah.
That was the nickname Machine, right?
Yeah.
And what was the fucking sticker on the car? High-tone son of a bitch. High-tone son of a bitch.
Car was fantastic, too. This movie has a, you got to see it to believe it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I mean, he is just grody, greaser, fucking sleazy, southern.
And you feel the frustration of the author because everybody connected to him is fucking dying. The cops are like, So again, what? Well, you sure you know didn't have anything to do with this? Like
Your prints
no,
are all over the scene.
but you should protect this person.
Yeah.
Okay, that person's now dead. Well, then definitely protect. And it just keeps going on. It's like, stop giving them fucking names, dude. You're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was among Romero's finest work. It was one of those mature adult psychological thrillers that like don't seem to be made anymore. I'd slot it in next to something like Dead Calm, where it's all about the intrigue, the crime, and what's going to happen next. And it is meticulously plotted, just like the novel.
Yeah, exactly. The novel, I think it is one of my favorite King books. It just, for the first one coming out of his coke and severe alcoholic days, it's a banger, dude.
Yeah.
You know, but like just like our main character said goodbye to, you know, he drank a lot when he wrote as George Stark, and that was the pen name in the book versus Bachman. You know, King stopped doing, you know what I mean? Like it's so just mirroring his real life. It's crazy, man. And I think it's amazing that he put it out that blatant in a book. And it's like, no, this was kind of my life. Here you go. Have
And
at
it
it.
has the same beats as it's the HBO miniseries with Jason Bateman.
Oh, The Outsider, yeah.
Outsider. It has
Accused of a crime you didn't commit and,
just
can't prove it.
fingerprints say that was you, motherfucker.
Mhm.
Like perfect.
Yeah, The Outsider was solid.
Yeah.
It's fucking good. And like you said, the practical effects are awesome. Like right out the gate, when he has the surgery and the eye just opens, you're like, oh, and it's like there's the nose. Oh, there's a tooth. Like, ew, bro.
Yeah.
Very. What's that new one? Malignant.
Yep.
I wonder if I wonder if Malignant was inspired by the Dark
It
Half.
has to be with that eye, just like looking around, like where am I? What's going on?
Hey, I'm here.
And then I like how he's rationally like, look, here's what happened. They took it out, they buried it, and it obviously grew up. And the cop's like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
What about the brilliant pan away to the shadow where the dude's dick's in his mouth? Oh, that was great. But that was like the PG version of the shit that he did in the book. There's a deep description of him when he get towards the end when he was breaking into the house, where he just walked up to the cop and sliced him. He said from his balls, and then it had in parentheses, the cop felt each ball slap each thigh straight up his gut, and I was like,
God damn.
That's fucking machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film is somewhat restrained, A, compared to a lot of Romero's other stuff, and B, compared to the King novel.
Yeah, and the King novel literally gave us like the movie and like his real life, it was a dual personality. Like you could, when you read it, there's King there, but the violence of Machine is fucking Bachman.
Yes.
It's 100% Bachman. And I just, oh man, I don't know. I'm gushing all over this thing, but I just love the dynamics and the similarities between the reality. It's fucking, I can't think of another book that's that close without being a autobiography to someone's life, honestly. So yeah, that's like almost like a yearly watch for me, The Dark Half.
Yeah, and the movie flows really well too. Like, because again,
It's definitely a 90s film.
Oh, it's yeah.
It's definitely a 90s film.
Everything we're talking about tonight is definitely 90s. But it has a very good flow to it where you're kind of following along in the story as the story's building, and there's no like kind of down part where you're having to over explain. You're kind of learning everything as the characters are. So.
Yeah. And that has to do with, Romero. Was an editor first, writer director.
I just
So
love.
he knew how to
and
cut
again,
the film
I
up,
love
right?
how the detective keeps going, dude. If this keeps up, I'm gonna have to fucking arrest you.
Oh, Michael Rooker, man.
I know.
Oh,
And
Michael
which
Rooker.
Rooker did an amazing job at
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And like knowing the King world, folks. For those that are King fans, he's the first. Isn't he the first rendition of Alan Pangborn?
He is.
Yeah. Which we get Ed Harris in Needful Things, and there was another one in Castle Rock.
Yeah, Scott Glenn plays him in
Scott
Castle
Glenn in
Rock.
Castle Rock. But I really loved Ed Harris, but they're like Michael Rook and Ed Harris are like neck and neck for how I envision Alan Pangborn.
I'm pretty sure this is following his performance in Henry.
It's years later. Henry was 1987.
Right, but this is where Rooker started popping up more and more.
Yeah, he had three movies this year. In '93, when Dark Ave happened, Mike Rooker was in 3 different movies that year.
Was Cliffhanger
was the next one released after this, and then
Days of Thunder?
No, that was '94.
Okay.
I forget, but the dude was working.
Yeah.
And he didn't start the dude in Henry, which was his first film ever. He was 31.
That's so crazy.
He's gonna be 70 this year.
Yeah. He's still partying up at cons, man.
Oh, dude, you couldn't tell he's 70.
No.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for Dark Half. We had to include that because it's directly inspired from Bachman and the King. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, fantastic novel, fantastic film. Seek them out.
Definitely, 100%. You need to watch that and read it. Read it first. Or, I don't know, maybe read it second because you get surprised. Because, you read it first, you might be let down because of, nowadays we probably get away with doing the Dark Half, which, that reminds me, before we move, there's a potential Dark Half remake in the works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Please don't. It's perfect.
I know. I don't want a remake of that. I don't want it just for more violence. Like, leave Romero's shit alone.
Depends who it is. I'll give it a chance. Sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't depend on the violence. That's the wonderful thing about it. It's smart.
Exactly. So if they're going to redo it, just say, hey, we need to do a modern update and make it more like the book. The only way you're going to make it more like the book is making it more violent. It is pretty spot on to cram it into a film that's like an hour 40, right? Or like an hour 35. It does a great job of editing and telling the story without feeling like you're missing anything. So, I don't really want to talk about this movie. Oh, God.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
On to the next. This one's actually from the collection we should be on. And it's Langoliers. It's the first story in 4 Past Midnight. If you can't tell by the pain in my voice, this was a long 3 hours. Again. It's only the second time I've watched it.
An absolutely brutal 3 hours that you'll never get back.
No. Thanks, Tom Holland.
I liked it. I thought it was... No, I'm sorry. I was going to try to be the opposing voice.
This wasn't his first movie, was it? No, he did Fright Night. That's right. A good movie.
Dude, he did fucking Child's Play.
He did Child's Play.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Oh,
fuck.
Man.
So, just on the off chance anyone involved with the Langoliers is listening, let's do the positives. It is highly competent for a television movie of the 1990s.
Yes. No.
That's a very low bar.
It's a Twilight Zone episode that's an hour, 2 hours and 30 minutes too long.
And I was going to say, you know what did a better 90s TV movie?
Plenty of people.
The Stand.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. There are positives. They try to do the best they can with really emanating the characters from the book, especially with Bronson Pritchard's...
Bronson Pinchot.
Pinchot.
Yeah.
When I pronounce it... I'm sorry. I don't mean to fuck up his name. They tried to get that character down with the sunken-in eyes, and he's a workaholic, and he's just high anxiety-driven.
They made him look like a raccoon at the beginning of the movie. Like, it looks like just shitty zombie makeup. It's not like tired. It looks like they just went over the top, even at the very first appearance of him.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day when I saw it, I agreed with that. But now that I've seen Succession and the slicked back hairdos, it's a wonderful characterization of like a complete finance douchebag.
Yeah.
So I stand by that as the lone bright spot. They picked a comedic actor to do a serious role, and he treated it like it was an episode of Succession, a black comedy, and it works whenever he's on screen.
I guess I was just thinking more of like a Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, like Wall Street type of, characteristics.
Sleabag, yeah.
I mean, he had the greased back hair, but he was losing his shit. Like, and
from minute one, that's the thing.
And in the book, he doesn't lose it. It's narrated that way, but his appearance at the very beginning wasn't like he's losing his shit.
Well, he's douchey at the beginning of it, yelling at everybody.
He looks all fucking sunken in,
but also like, I demand to have a seat up here, and
he looks tweaked and fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the adaptation is that it takes what is a beautiful lyrical novella with tons of interiority. We get so deep into the villain of the Langoliers' head and why he is that way, and it just comes across as stilted in the film. It's kind of like the opposite of like what Mike Flanagan did with Dr. Sleep, where it like takes a King adaptation that's basically unfilmable and turns it into a work of art. This one turns one that is highly filmable and readable into something that's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to go into it. The shit that just is fucking painful.
Get it.
Is when you get the reveal of the Langoliers. It looks like they took the concept of Audrey 2 and then wanted to make it Pac-Man and then assigned it to somebody who has never made a digital effect in their life up till now. Because it's fucking terrible. It's laughable. And I feel bad for the actors who had to pretend to be reacting to these things and then saw the end product when they put it in. It's fucking terrible.
It's fucking awful.
And there's no excuse for it. In the novella, it's an existential threat a la Lovecraft, these things that devour the end of time, basically. And they're just an omnipresent, massive force that destroys everything they come into contact with. And they're scary in the book. And this is the year after Jurassic Park came out,
Yep.
so there's no excuse for the CGI to be as bad as it is.
Nope.
Not even on a television budget.
Nope. I mean, it was ABC. They had money.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like, 100%
They didn't have any
agreed.
big name stars in it, so
And when you read the book, like King is doing what King does. It's very descriptive. Like you see, like the landscape of the sky when they're watching the chompers like eat away. The way he describes it just goes to nothingness, and like how the man describes nothingness. How can you make describing nothingness interesting? I don't know. He fucking did it, you know.
Yep.
And like it's prime King writing on it. And this is, and I don't say this about a lot of things. This film needs a remake. Langoliers needs a remake.
Yeah, maybe as a creep show episode.
I would.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Would-
Which
just
I was
an
going to
hour?
say.
That's
Just an
about as
hour?
much Langoliers as I can take.
Okay.
Yeah, if you play like an episode, that's what I'm saying. Is that there's enough intrigue. It just goes.
But do you think
so
it's long
fucking
enough?
far.
You think it doesn't need to be longer than an hour?
Dude, how long are they when they land? Are they like scoping shit out? And I understand there's character building, but dude, you could chop.
But dude, it was 3 hours, no commercials, and now you're talking about cutting it down to a third. I figured meeting somewhere in the middle would be the.
No, the salient stuff that would be needed is the mystery. People waking up on an airplane where everyone else is gone. A realization that you are.
There's no pre-shit. It
Yeah.
starts with
Yep.
them just waking up.
A
Yeah.
realization that you're no longer on the Earth as we know it, and this existential threat to beat. You don't need
Okay.
the endless deduction, the Sherlock Holmesing. Again, it was an autobiographical thing that Stephen King hated flying, and the mystery writer character is based on himself. And therefore, that's what drives the novella. It shouldn't drive a film.
Yeah, fair. Okay, fair. Now, hearing that, because you'd cut like 20 minutes, starting it from when the blind girl wakes up on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's 20
And
minutes
that's
cut
the
right there.
perfect way to start it.
Yeah.
Is the blind girl
Yeah.
being your first character you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. And Stephen King on the page, wonderful. He can make somebody who reads Sherlock Holmes books and finds the faults in them as a kid interesting. He does in that. However, the characters in Langoliers do not need backstories. They do not need to really introduce themselves the way they do in this terrible television film.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, I'm a drug addict and my mom is going to make me go to rehab. I don't want to do that.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm going through GTs right now.
Yeah.
I'm sad. My wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I'm a secret agent. I
Yeah.
kill people.
Dude, he was not at all like the character in the book, in my opinion. It was like, and I liked that character. I mean, he was a bit of a, he was snooty, but he was respectful. It was a contract killer, but a respectful contract killer.
yeah.
You know, I'm
A
cool.
gentleman's spy.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
Hmm.
you know, I guess spies better, but aren't spies pretty much contract killers?
Exactly.
That's a nicer way to say it.
Yeah. The more Ian Fleming version of James Bond, where he's a brutal, ruthless madman, rather than the
Fair enough.
suave film version.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right, that's enough about Langoliers. Fuck.
Yeah.
Read it. Don't watch it.
No.
God. All right. So going in order of releases, the next one, it was a standalone book that actually came out in 84. So I think it was technically, up to this point, the last Bachman book to release. There has been one released in there's been two?
Two, we've got
I've
the
read Blaze.
Regulators and Blaze.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was going to get to Regulators on something else. I was just thinking like Blaze as a... Because Regulators wasn't really standalone. It was released simultaneously with a King version and a Bachman version. So it was kind of a set.
Yeah, Desperation, and they play off of each other.
Exactly.
They're mirror universes.
Exactly. Just one takes place in the desert in Arizona, I believe. And then the other... I forget the name of the town. But then the other one was in a suburban neighborhood. But like same character names, same description of the characters. Just the demon gets them a different way.
Yeah.
Both are good. I enjoyed both. I think I like Desperation more. I like the desert aspect of it,
Yeah, it has a better villain, too.
especially for
Deranged sheriff and who's basically 8 feet tall because the monster inside is changing him.
And then he's slowly also like splitting and
Yeah.
rotting, and because he's a meat suit at that point.
Grotesque.
Yeah.
And Regulators is a bit more surreal and
Mhm.
interior.
Yeah. I still enjoyed it though, but I do like Desperation more. And that came out in 96, right? So before that, 84, year I was born, this fucking book's 40 years old, we got Thinner. I can't even say that seriously.
Thinner.
I curse you.
Thinner.
Yeah. It's Rose's
Lizard.
Lizard. Okay, the practical effects on that dude was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When he shows up at the end.
The BS dream sequence, or
No,
yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Fucking. But I say for 84, the film came out in 96.
Directed by.
Tom Holland again.
Yeah.
Now this is miles better.
But I'm
Than the
saying,
Langoliers.
they watch the Langoliers. You go, all right, we'll give you another chance.
Yeah. I will say there is really no need to read this book if you're okay with watching the movie, because it's pretty direct adaptation, at least from what I remember reading Thinner.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much deviance. And the movie is a little bit slow at times, while the book, when it's slow, it's narration, because that's how King does. So it makes it really slow.
And the advantage that the movie has over the book is Joe Montana.
I said Joe Montana.
Yeah, I would only recommend the book if you're looking to develop your own novel writing techniques. Stephen King in it breaks the golden rule of novels and has some of the most exciting things happen off the page, not in real time. And he's using that old school American early 20th century, maybe even 19th century technique of letting people tell their stories to each other, etc. The whole final third of it, which is raw balls to the wall action, takes place in a conversation in a motel room during the book. Not his finest choice.
Really?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's basically the Joe Montana mobster character returns to the motel and says, "You have a meeting in an hour. Here's how I did it."
Oh, what a waste.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And-
That's what I'm saying. The
all right,
movie
yeah,
is
you know what?
The movie's
definitely
an
the way to go.
improvement.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Because you visually gave us him taking out fucking gypsies. Oh, man.
Dude, he was
Cackling and
dude, he was
fucking.
dressed in all black, no mask on, like
Yeah.
trying to hide, like just lighting him up, dude. Just fucking.
Having Fat Tony in this movie was perfect. He carries the movie. There's two performances, not just him, but the wife of the judge, who just finds it utterly, she's devastated, and then utterly just laughing and shitty as fuck to our main dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're so fucked, man.
Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah. But Joe Montana definitely made that movie. I will say, effect-wise, the fat suit they used on Homeboy, I forget the actor's name, but he's been in tons of stuff.
I just always go to Rescue Me.
Yeah, he was the priest in Rescue Me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He didn't look terrible. The fat suit was believable.
What he did is he did very jolly.
Yes.
He's very jolly in the fat suit,
Yeah.
and that's what sells it.
Yeah, the fat suit makeup is good. It's the posturing and movement that goes along with it. I thought that was the weakest thing in a bunch of tremendous practical effects in this movie.
He's walking like he's not a fat man.
Yeah.
Literally, he's not he didn't practice like being encumbered by all that weight,
Yeah.
right?
The makeup in this movie has to be seen to be believed. In King's novel, as well as in the movie, the gypsies have grotesque things about them going on, and it's captured perfectly. The transformation of one of the novel and film's villains into a lizard man is just flawless in this.
Looked when he popped back up when he's leaving the carnival, I was like, "Holy shit!" Right?
Another
Phenomenal.
character is riddled with tumors, and it looks
Yeah, I was
horrible.
gonna say Sheriff Kruger,
That was
and I'm saying Kruger because reference Kruger from fucking Seinfeld plays the sheriff, and when you see him, he is fucked up.
whole half side. It was almost like a weird. You guys ever seen From Beyond?
Yes.
It looks like the less fully like transformed version of the Doctor from Beyond. The whole half of his body, right? Ugh. So again, practical effects are on point.
Practical effects are on point. It's absolutely bonkers. It is a carnival of ridiculousness and offensiveness that's in your face.
It's a slow.
It is slow. The pacing
Thin
is
Him-
bad.
The Thin Him was all like that makeup. The way how that gaunt they made his face look.
Sunken in and stuff.
Dude,
Yeah.
right? I mean, great practical effects. And the movie is slow, but like I said, the payoff at the end with
Yes.
Joe Montana, if it
When
wasn't
he
for him
shows
in that
up.
movie, it would not be good. I'm sorry. Like, it wouldn't be nearly as
You
good.
see at the beginning of the movie, he gets off from whatever he was doing. Yeah, they emphasize he is a fucking mobster.
And whenever he calls him, he's always like a friend's like, yeah, man, what's going on?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. But dude, like that scene when he's driving and he's
But he's
just
like, somebody fucked with you? No.
They fucking with me.
They're fucking with me.
but when he's driving, he's like, do I like it? I fucking love
Oh man,
Dude, it's so
he
good.
just embraces the shit out of this character.
it. Oh, he's having a ball.
And
Now, bitch, this is
one of
the
my
real
favorite scenes is just real quick. He pulls the daughter of the lady that got her over. Joe Montana pulls her in, and he's like, "I work for the FBI." And
I think we have your suspect.
Yeah.
We have the suspect, the man who killed your husband, in custody. You follow me, please, if you will.
and he takes her, and then and he shows a photo of our main dude, and then when he gets her in the barn, he's like, "Actually, here's the photo of the suspect," and he pulls out his own photo and goes, "It was me." Goddamn amazing. The more we talk about it, the more I'm going to watch this movie again because of that performance.
No shit.
Yeah, that final third is just great. It's a man doing what he loves, both in the novel and in the movie. And there are so many great touches that he does. Hiring a prostitute who gets killed to do surveillance on the antagonists. And he goes, he might have been a mook, but he was my mook.
Yeah, yeah.
He pretty much FedExes his artillery because they deliver
they mailed him his
Uzis,
guns, dude.
And I'm like, wow.
But you're right. You're right. They dude. He's like, he was my monk, and it's just his delivery on everything is just chewing it up, dude. I love it.
There's a lot of scenery chewing. The gypsies chew it too.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Now,
like the daughter, she's like full on eating that scenery.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, Carrie Wurr.
Yes.
dude,
She should not be doing a gypsy accent.
no,
That's
no.
the only thing.
She was trying her best though.
You got the curse. Ha ha ha. Stop.
Oh, what I want.
You should be visual, not talking.
Speaking of curse, I thought of this earlier, talking outside, and I didn't want to say it then. I was like, I wonder how like the curse from the white man from town would go in today's society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Think about it.
That's why I mentioned it is very much a product of its time. It is
Yes.
profoundly offensive as it gets.
The curse of the white man from town.
The
Go
white
away,
man from,
white man from town.
Yeah.
the white man from town says, "Take it off."
How do you like
Fine. Curse of the white man from town.
Oh, man.
So bad. Oh man, that scene was hilarious because he's just like he can barely stand. He's just trying to look all evil and like It was good times.
I just want to know what happened to Joe Montana's
So
character.
the ending was relatively the same. Sorry.
Yeah, the Stephen King ending in the book, which was changed on the film with reshoots, actually, to give you that wonderful monkey's paw moment where everyone is betrayed and dies. In the novel, again, Stephen King doing the worst things possible, kills that character off screen. Sure enough, an investigator comes to talk to our protagonist and notifies him that the FBI has found him dead in a possible gang hit. His body was riddled with thousands of bullets, and it's made clear that it was the gypsies who did it.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're going after, they curse all these people for one gypsy getting killed. This dude takes out a bunch of motherfuckers, and the movie ends, and you don't find out. So thank you for filling me in on the book because.
But he dies the same way.
Yeah.
The daughter eats the pie. He immediately just scarfs it down and is like, fuck it.
But killing the doctor is a new twist.
Yeah, and that was mwah.
Come on in for some pie.
Fuck him. Well, I mean, she was, but no, fuck him.
Yeah. No, she said she wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
He was just doing a house call.
Yeah.
Every other day.
When he's surprised that the husband's in his house. Really?
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh,
outta
you're
here.
back.
You're in your house that you pay for. Cool. Like,
he could have just showed up naked.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you'd be here.
yeah, sorry about my giant erection. I really wanted to put it in your wife, but I guess that's not
The
happening
only
right
fun
now.
thing would have been like, oh, she's upstairs. She wants you to talk to her upstairs. And then like, I can't fuck that.
Those practical effects on
That
the
was
wife,
good,
that
yeah.
shit looked
Yeah.
gnarly, dude.
She was sunk it in.
Snotty and bloody and bleh. Yeah.
But he
good
should
times.
have sent her upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a piece of pie and then go upstairs like, you see that?
Yeah.
Get ready, bitch.
Yeah. We should have watched her eat it and then make sure the pie couldn't get anyone else's hands. And gonna call
No,
it
I'm
a day.
just saying, bring the doctor in, have him a piece of pie. Let's go talk to her right now.
Oh,
and you see what's happened to her? You fucked, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Eat and just savor that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thinner was definitely, that's something I could see. Yeah, I can see rewatching that again. I hadn't watched it in a long time.
It's so silly and goofy.
It is. It's gleefully silly and ridiculous. If you love trashy horror, it'll be right up your alley if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, think like trashy, not as much action, but as far as trash level, it's about as trashy as Maximum Overdrive.
Yes. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
All right, so there were only two things adapted out of 4 Past Midnight. So we've got one more adaptation that came out in 2004, and the novel was called Secret Window, Secret Garden. The movie was just called Secret Window.
You stole my story.
Now, honestly, out of that film, John Turturro was the best part of the movie, in my opinion. Holy shit.
He's so amazing in it.
What's his face came back? Timothy
Timothy Hutton's back in it, yes.
Timothy Hutton's back
Yeah.
with the same cracker accent as they talk about in the dark half. He's like, where are you from? Little place in, what was it, Kentucky? Some shit?
Yeah.
Where the new guy's from, whatever. Johnny Depp's a good actor, but
It's among his silliest roles.
It really
He
is.
missed the mark on the character completely. I don't know if it
Absolutely.
was written that way, but that is not the character from the book.
It feels like he watched the Michael Douglas Wonder Boys about a literary genius in a
Thank
beanie
you.
and a bathrobe, and was like, I'm just going to let the wardrobe do the acting here. Michael Douglas didn't comb his hair in that movie. I'm not going to either.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of like, because this came out a year after Pirates of the Caribbean. It reminded me of a sober Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Like,
and
he's-
we don't like
where he's
sober.
just kind of befuddling and bumbling idiot
Yeah.
more so
But
than
we
anything
don't
else,
like
right?
sober Jack Sparrow. That's not the selling point.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now. Like, I don't ever see a reason to rewatch this movie again. This is my
boring.
second viewing,
It's
and
boring.
I'd rather read the book because I like the novella.
Yeah, I mean, it's of its time, and it's competent if you are completely unfamiliar with the source material. It's interesting enough. It's one of those things I might describe as like an airplane or a cable movie, where if you're just stuck somewhere, yeah, it'll entertain you for 2 hours running time. Don't go out of your way for it.
Yeah.
Can I throw it again into the category of could have made a good, just short, like an episode?
It would have been a better episode.
Yeah.
100% better
'Cause
episode.
You could establish everything and his frustration, and you don't have to invest another hour and 20 in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you need to it needs to be written, and then somebody that can portray manic, because he wasn't like he was more manic in the novel, not like befuddling, bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
At least from what I remember from the
I
novel.
mean, I see where they're going
Novella,
with
excuse
that, because obviously you wouldn't expect the bumbling idiot to be the killer, but
yeah, but that's not. From what I remember, again,
it's
that's not
so
how he was
over the
written.
top. But it's so
It's
over
not.
the top. Like
The novel has a supernatural antagonist, of
Mhm.
course.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this, of course, was that same little window in the early 2000s, late 90s of we had Fight Club, and that's cool. It's all in his head. We had Identity. It's cool. It's all in his head. And by this point, that twist had worn out so much.
yes,
Because the two you just mentioned were probably the A game of that trope.
Right.
Like, right? Because I
Yeah.
just rewatched Identity, and that's still a banger. Like, you know.
Now I would say one that's good with that is Frailty. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, Frailty.
Maybe it's in his head. I don't know.
Frailty does it well. This one does it slightly better than High Tension's reveal, but that's not saying
That's
much.
fair, and I say that really enjoying the viewing, the viewing up to the reveal of High Tension. Like
Same.
if the reveal was better, that movie would be like way the fuck up here for me.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking experience watching that thing.
But just like Secret Window, there are plot holes you can drive a truck through as to how it happens.
It's a movie that's almost like just based on the reveal, and
Yeah.
you just have to go all this way to get to there, and bumbling and conversations that aren't happening.
They aren't even important. There's like so many. They're
I'll
actually
throw this out
relevant
here.
conversations.
It's kind of like The Village, where you go through
no,
you go through all that, you get to the reveal at the end, you go, all right,
Okay,
well, I never
okay.
have to watch this again.
okay.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's absolutely...
Yeah.
It's a product that's way less than the sum of its parts. You have a highly competent screenwriter who came off of working on like the Jurassic Park sequel at the time, a bunch of other stuff. You've got Johnny Depp, a recognizable film star at the time, great supporting cast, wonderful French-Canadian cinematography, and then this.
Oh yeah, the landscape was gorgeous
Yeah.
in the movie. You
just
know
to-
when I start talking about the landscape.
Oh yeah, I mean that tells you how much he's desperate. For.
Yeah, just to backtrack though, Thinner did also have beautiful landscapes, and it's
Oh.
like possibly the only authentic King one shot in Maine.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
was gonna say thank you. I completely forgot. When at the meetup at the end is fucking beautiful. They're like literally on next to the ocean.
The lighthouse. Yeah.
Yep.
It's fucking
Goddamn.
beautiful, man.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely shit the bed on that, but I meant to mention it was literally a New England little Cape Cod.
I think it's one of the most main feeling of a King adaptation where they really stress that small town feel and that Maine feel.
I would say Perfect Storm has a good feel too.
But that's almost more for the development.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like that has kind of that.
They didn't have to do the small town with this as much.
They didn't. You're right. They didn't have to.
And just to note, the Langoliers filming location is also authentically Maine. It is truly the Bangor Airport in there.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Filmed on location for verisimilitude.
Is it like a shut down area? Of the
I
airport?
think so. It sure looks
'Cause
like
it was dead. The only other thing I can say about Secret Window is with John Turturro. Part of the reason why I loved it is because when I thought about the movie up until the rewatch, I always just thought about John Turturro, and I only watched it once, like pretty much where it came out, and I'm like, I think I love how he is in that film so much because it's almost just like a continuation of O Brother Where Art Thou.
Oh yeah,
Like his character, it's just
And
that
the
meets
trailer-
Mississippi.
I remember the trailer for this leaning so hard on "You stole my story."
Yeah.
That just opening the door, and that was the trailer. That was like,
because O Brother Where Art Thou
it
was
was
like
like,
2001,
look at fucking weird.
2002, 2001. Yeah. So like, figure that he pretty much left that, maybe did something, but then went right to filming this.
Do not go to.
Yeah.
It's just a little more raised voice of that character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think that's why I actually enjoy him so much in that movie, just because I love O Brother Where Art Thou. So
Yeah, we got tricked.
we did, dirty fuckers.
Yep. It should have had a pedigree, and it just doesn't. It's not that great.
And again, not all of them can be bangers too, right? You know, there's really, I mean, I think the only one that out of these 5 films that truly stands out as a great cinematic experience is Dark Half, and that's not saying like it's
Dark Half.
a high-end 90s film. It's just a good 90s film.
Too fun with, I'd say, Running Man and Thinner, and then yeah.
But you know, there are 2 other stories in 4 Past Midnight. We've got the Sundog and what's the other one?
The Library Policeman.
That's right, the Library Policeman. Yeah. I thought I read somewhere that there was a potential for adapting that, but that's been no news of that for like I think like a decade. So I don't think that's happening. I don't remember that one as much. I remember the Sundog because that's where they find the camera.
Yeah.
And when they take a photo, there's a dog that's showing up, right? But it ends up coming out of the photo.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a possessed camera.
Can I just suggest maybe Darabont, Flanagan, Rob Reiner, they just get together.
Rob Reiner, yeah.
And they just pull these that haven't been made, and they do a show, and they just dedicate making right the wrongs of these ones that haven't been turned into in just episodes, especially with the short stories. Am I being greedy here by just naming the top Stephen King directors?
You're right, because they deserve that level of care, because the reason that these were picked was because they're good stories.
Because you did a whole
I
series on Castle Rock. But just right here,
which was great.
how many of these have we covered and they haven't adapted this? They haven't done it. You got 3 directors. Just swap. Just have them do it. Just, come on. Some streaming site. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Make it.
Yeah. And like I said, we already referenced all the other ones from the Bachman book. So that's kind of wrapping up the adaptations and also catching up, because we completely forgot about the Bachman books. That literally came out between Skeleton Crew and 4 Past Midnight. So that was our bad. But left to talk about, we do have a bunch of stuff in the works coming out with King adaptations, which dude, like, I thought the COVID might have killed the King craze that came back because Andy Muschietti's It, right?
Yeah.
No, didn't fuck with it at all.
Oh, I thought Pet Sematary would have killed that.
Why?
Because all of the goodwill from It got fucking just fucking kneecapped by fucking terrible Pet Sematary.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I wish I could blame it on the pandemic.
There have been so many bad Stephen King adaptations over the years, though.
You didn't like Night Flyer?
I went into the theater. I went to the theater and saw Pet Sematary, so I took it personal, okay? And it's because of the trust of It. So, yeah, I guess that's why it's a little personal for me.
Hey, I get it. I watched The Langoliers on ABC with commercials in the 90s, and then I watched it again on YouTube, also with commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, you guys just don't know my pain.
So the best part of watching was the flashback commercials then?
Oh, no.
That would seem like the only thing entertaining is like, oh, man, remember these?
Yeah.
That's a Little Caesars commercial from back in the day. Holy shit.
No. Thanks to being a cheapskate who doesn't pay for the YouTube Premium, I got modern YouTube commercials.
Fuck that.
Screamingly loud advertisements for Google and Amazon's Alexa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's not as much fun.
No, I would have been
commercials.
charmed if it had like the new Ford Escort.
That would
now with 86 horsepower.
Yeah. Cruise control.
Air conditioning is an option.
Yeah.
86 horse.
With a CD player. Yeah.
Oh, but you're accurate. So there's an adaptation getting ready to come out next year that is from the Skeleton Crew. So we got to backtrack and talk about that, and there will be an episode on that. But The Monkey is going to be directed by Osgood Perkins, and it's coming out early 2025. For those of you who don't know who the fuck Osgood Perkins is, you clearly didn't see Longlegs, and he's also the son of Anthony Perkins.
Yep.
So I am stoked to see what he does with King.
Yeah.
Let's see how he does.
Let's let him cook.
Exactly. You know, and that's post-production. Like, that is coming out. That's being cleaned up right now.
Yeah, I think
So,
Neon was promoting it.
They promoted before long.
No,
Before Strange Darling. There was a trailer.
No, before Cuckoo.
And before Cuckoo. Yeah.
Right before Cuckoo.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't watch Cuckoo with you guys, so I'm saying it was before Cuckoo and before Strange Darling. Yeah, they're definitely pumping it. We do have in development, nobody attached to it except a writer I don't know. So, but it is like being shopped around the regulators for a film because they already had a made-for-TV movie of Desperation.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I'd be down for it just to see, hopefully, and hope it's good.
I'm skeptical. It's going to be a very difficult novel to adapt.
True, but so is Gerald's Game. So if you get the right director,
Yep.
there you go. That gives me hope, dude. I'm telling
It
you,
does.
Flanagan, you give me hope. I mean, he did. I thought that was an unfilmable book.
Yeah, I agree.
There's 3 trusted directors, goddammit.
Yeah. And well, Darabont, he had a little better. You know, he had Green Mile, Shawshank, The Mist. He had better source material. Sorry,
That's true.
To make visual, Gerald's Game is literally all narration.
Yeah.
You're in her head the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how do you film this?
Yeah.
Without making it all cut shots and backstory shots.
I mean, again, Reiner with fucking something like Misery, it takes place in one setting.
That's true.
And you have to make it entertaining.
That's true.
Where it's literally a dude in a bed for most of the movie.
Yeah.
So.
That is true.
Yeah.
God, that's suspenseful. That movie, man, it makes your skin crawl. Fuck.
Mm.
No one remake. Leave that the fuck alone. That movie's perfect. That movie's fucking perfect.
I don't trust Hollywood.
I mean, do you guys agree? I think that's a perfect adaptation of
Yeah.
Misery. Like, I couldn't ask for anything more out of that film.
It's a perfect film. It's one of the rarities that improves on the novel. It's wonderful.
James Caan.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Kathy Bates. Fuck yes. Let's go. Now, this is kind of a bummer. It's in development. We all know about the Dark Tower. I've been oozing over that for 2 years since it got announced. More recently, I read an interview with Flanagan where he said he is going to take as much time as is needed for him to deliver what he wants to the world, which is why it was specifically cut out of his deal with Prime.
Ooh.
Yeah, like when he did the contract, he didn't want it associated with his deal because then he would be obliged to make it
And rush.
in a time frame that what might not suit him.
Yeah.
So I respect him for that, but as the ultimate adaptation, like honestly, when he does that, I honestly, after Usher and everything else he's done with King, I might never find an adaptation that's going to be better than that.
It's still tricky to adapt, even though it doesn't seem like it would be.
I'm saying this way preemptive, but like this comes out, and if this is done to the Flanagan standard that I have come to know and love, because The Dark Tower is my favorite series of books. I don't think I'll ever have another adaptation that I will enjoy as much as long as The Dark Tower is done right. Second to it, though, will be The Talisman, which I'm going into next. Netflix, like sometime during the last season of Stranger Things, so I guess like 2021-ish, early 2022, the Duffer Brothers were going to get starting their own like production company, and Netflix greenlit them for a Talisman series.
No shit.
Yes,
All right.
which that has been actually said to be equally as hard as Dark Tower to film, apparently.
Oh, it is.
Because it's been dropped like 3 times with big name directors. So let's hopefully, right now they got Spielberg and the Duffer Brothers producing it, and you've got the guy Curtis Gwynn, who is a main writer for Stranger Things, as the showrunner of The Talisman. So they've got talent and money.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Don't fuck it up.
And experience dealing with a parallel universe, kind of like the Upside Down,
Yeah.
so it could
and
work.
you know what's even cooler is that's definitely probably going to come out first. It'll already give people an intro into the Dark Tower universe with the fucking I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the because you get Blaine the Mono, you get Walter Flagg, as Morgan Sloat, so you're literally getting giant chunk. Oh, he showed up as he also showed up as that KFC looking motherfucker warden that runs the kid prison.
Yes.
Remember, he showed up in that form too. So
oh yeah.
This will this will be a good testing the waters for the lengthy project that is the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
We were talking about over combined 8,000 pages of novels just in the Dark Tower series, not including all the associated stuff.
Yep, short stories that tie in.
Yeah. I mean, the ones that directly tie in, like Talisman, right? I mean, this directly ties in, so there's a lot that I think Flanagan's taking his time because he realizes that I got multiple seasons.
Yeah. Don't rush me, bitch.
Yep. And apparently another one out of the Skeleton Crew that's in the works, pre-production, is The Jaunt which they want to make that a series, and I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, the one where they got
minimal reason to. It's a wonderful sci-fi short story. I don't even think it would work as a Twilight Zone episode because it's just get in like 10 or 12 pages, instill existential dread in you that you can never shake for the rest of your life, and then you're out.
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean,
kind of thing that's only scary if you sit alone and contemplate it after reading it on a page.
But the thing is, like, I don't hate this film, but it's not the best adaptation. But the fact they made it PG-13 kind of helped them some because they didn't have to go super hard. But the adaptation of The Boogeyman is completely different from the story, and it's not a bad movie. It's just not a great movie. Like, I don't hate it. I didn't hate when I watched it. But same thing, like, if they'd have done the actual story, it'd have been a dude just sitting in his therapist's office, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, what we got was them trying to do something to at least make it a watchable film. So hopefully I would think they could do maybe something like that with the Jaunt, because the Jaunt is just basically like teleportation exists in the future, but if you aren't properly sedated, you will get like ripped apart and all kinds of fucked up shit during the you'll come out on the other side looking like Inside Out, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And you get stuck there too.
Yeah.
So that's the existential dread. There's a meat sack on the other side, and here you are in the void.
Yep. So I don't know if that could be a series. It could at least be one episode or something, but the series, that just sounds
It sounds like
horrible.
they're just taking the concept and then they're going to create all their own characters, and you just tag on there, you know, based on Stephen King, and that's all you really need to do.
There are a few other things. Just After Sunset's getting a lot of adaptations that are kind of in the development, pre-production stuff, still trying to find writers and all that and actors, but I think I saw like 3 different Just Before Sunset stories.
Yeah, that one's right for
Just
it.
After Sunset, sorry.
Hopefully the Porta Potty one is in there, because that's my favorite of all the Stephen King short stories.
Of course. I think they said The Girl Who Loved what was it?
Tom Gordon
is still in the works. So there's
That one's been in the works for a while.
I know.
Man. Jesus.
So was The Talisman.
Yeah.
Dude, the first time someone made a mock trailer for this was like 2012
Yeah.
for a Talisman movie.
God damn.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's been in development hell.
Yeah. Shit.
I mean, he's a great writer. You know you're a great writer when people like are scared to adapt your shit. That says a lot. All right, so that is everything. Anybody else has anything to add to any of these adaptations or things that are getting ready to come out or so on and so forth?
I mean,
Wrap it up about King.
I was going to say, coming out on Max.
Oh, duh.
They just dropped,
Fuck. Yeah, they just dropped the teaser trailer. Thank you,
Yeah.
Hunter.
Which
I
initially,
rebuke your fuck you from earlier.
yeah, but it was initially supposed to be a theatrical. And
Yeah, in
then
like 2022.
they're like, now we're going to do a Max. And then they just put it in limbo. Because I remember seeing the teaser trailer, goddamn, like 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So it's been just sitting, and they didn't know what to do. And I guess they just decided, just put it on Max.
It might work out for him because this could be the prelude to what's arguably going to be, I feel like, one of the greatest movies of this year's Eggers Nosferatu. Like, I don't see how that movie could be bad.
And that might be what scared them, is they're like, shit.
If we put it out after that, we're fucked.
Yeah. Or even around it.
Yeah. Well, it's coming out October, right?
Yeah.
So it's right around then. I mean, it's Christmas Day when Nosferatu comes out, so it's only 2.5 months. But the teaser trailer definitely looks like it's going to be more okay. Visually, it looks they're going to be doing stuff that was left out of the made-for-TV movie back in '78 because they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the technology. But I don't know if the casting choices were right. I don't think that looks like a good Ben Mears to me because he was still described as more rugged.
And I believe this might be the director, the guy that wrote the adaptation of It that came out.
Yeah, I think he's directing it.
This is his first directing gigs. Like, go either way.
Looks like they're doing pretty good stuff with effects. Like you see, what they were able to do the whole like flipping around the wall thing, which is in the trailer, like out the door. Like, it could be good. I'm just leery about the casting choice. That's all.
I'm just leery about how much that concept of Salem's Lot sprawls in the Stephen King universe. It's like the book is pretty thick and dense with a lot of
goes after that?
lore and plotting. And then, of course, there's like spin-off short stories and 100 Years Ago prequel and so on and so
And
forth.
no Rob Lowe in this one.
Yeah. But no, that's a good point. And honestly, like so a lot of these things coming out again before Dark Tower helps because Salem's Lot is directly connected
Yes.
to the Dark Tower. So
Can you do it justice in a short film? I don't know, especially because it's so
it's a
dependent.
series, I thought.
Oh, it is. Okay, there
Yeah.
we go. Well, that's
Right?
got
I thought
time.
it was a series. Yeah,
Got runway.
What's that?
I thought it was like it's one movie.
It's one movie.
I thought I saw that it was a series. Oh fuck.
Nope, just one movie. That's what I'm saying. They debated theatrical release.
What's the running time? That'll tell me everything I need to know.
I don't know.
If it's like some bullshit Sony 90 minutes, fuck that. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
It might be.
But, you know, like that scene that we get in the trailer where he looks away and he looks back at the town and all the ghostly images are there. I remember that from the book, but they weren't able to do that in the OG TV adaptation. So that's cool if we're going to get some of that stuff. I really hope they cast it right because he just doesn't scream Ben Mears to me.
No.
And that worries me.
Yeah.
Now what the fuck was what's the caretaker's name? Begins with a B, right? Brain farting. The guy that watches, because he's actually Barlow, right? The vampire's not, or is vampire actually the Barlow in Salem's Lot? I can't remember. Oh well, I haven't read that. I haven't read Salem's Lot in forever. I did rewatch the miniseries last year around Halloween. I thought about. I usually pull it in every year or two. I remember that as a kid, and it's not a bad for the time period. It's a pretty solid made-for-TV movie. It's better than the fucking Langoliers.
I mean,
it is.
Yeah, and the go-to scene of the
kid on the
dude,
it's creepy
hovering,
as fuck, dude.
Come on out, come on, let me, that's that right there kind of sold that miniseries.
Yeah, not as good as Shogun, not as good as it, but you know, for a TV miniseries, it works.
Yeah. So, definitely, I'm still excited, albeit a little bit hesitant. But I've always been hesitant just because of the production hell it's been, and that tends to ruin films as well.
Yeah, and so the question is, why has it taken this
long? Did they have to reshoots? Like it did, whenever it reshoots, I immediately get worried.
A lot of editing that might have happened.
A New Mutants type situation.
Yes, where that had a lot of promise and was a shit bag. Sorry,
I thought it was pretty cool, man.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I remember that episode. You did not.
No.
But all right, then we're gonna wrap it up. That's enough gushing over the king, the man himself. Happy birthday! That's why we do this every September. He's gonna be what, 80 or 79?
Wow.
Holy shit!
Right? Someone look that up.
I mean, I was struck in one of the 4 Past Midnight introductions. He mentioned he's 40-something years old at the time.
Yeah,
at the time.
He's probably in his late 70s.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And like, I think he might be breaking the 80 threshold this year. I think.
Somebody
either that or 79.
Somebody assist him in blowing out those candles, please.
They probably just put an 8 and a 0.
Yeah.
You're just mean if you put 80 candles on a fucking
There's no
cake.
way, yeah.
You're just mean.
Well, you can eat it, but it's full of wax.
He's still tweeting 25 times a day just fine. You may not agree with it, but he is doing it.
Look,
he is. You're right. He is in interviews, he's very cognizant.
He is.
And his excitement about Strange Darling pulled a lot of people to check that movie out because
his name, like, it's gonna be one of the worst days when he passes because like he has been the staple go-to seal of approval for horror literally since the early 80s.
And just all kinds of other interesting artistic
76.
endeavors. Yeah, there's a musician I love, Myke Reiser, who I've been following for years. Stephen King just promoted a documentary about this like musician and his career trajectory, which is not good. Super compelling documentary. And King's like, go watch it.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I'm just going to throw out there real quick. I mean, his like mention with Evil Dead is plaster on the poster, and it was one of the motivating factors for people to check out the OG Evil Dead. Was literally says Stephen King says one of the best horror movies I've seen.
Yeah.
And that sold it. A lot of people that were like, Evil Dead, I don't know about that. Oh shit, Stephen King liked it? That motherfucker does horror.
I mean, I say since the 80s because he did that for Hellraiser.
Yep.
So Clive Barker is the new, he's the new face of terror or whatever. Like he's just constantly been doing that.
Yeah, he's a tastemaker with excellent taste in everything except adaptations of his own work.
Correct.
Yeah.
He hates almost all of them and likes the ones that are really bad.
For the most part. But he did say he likes Flanagan, and Flanagan's done nothing but good ones. So maybe he likes it. And he said in an interview, when someone asked him about what, they literally point blank asked him, do you like Flanagan's adaptations? And he's like, I really enjoy his work. He doesn't go into it thinking he's going to fix something. He just adapts the work, right? He's like, he doesn't look at the work, critique my work, say this is wrong, it needs to be fixed to this, and then film that. He just does. He's pretty sure he's nodding at Kubrick.
I was about to say, can you imagine how many truckloads of cocaine it would take to watch The Shining and go, this fucking sucks, I can do better.
Yeah, right? Like, what?
And actually try to do better.
Yeah.
And not.
Yeah, fair. That was terrible. That means, oh, God.
We
one year we're just going to do an episode on bad, like the horrible. We listed some not good ones. No, we haven't even touched like the shit pile of bad adaptations.
Punishment King.
Yeah. A Good Marriage is still
Where you
lurking
go.
out there.
Yeah.
That might be the worst movie I've ever seen.
I have yet to watch that based
Oh,
because you
boy.
told me that, and I'm like, oh man. But all right, we could go on and on about King. We got to pull it here, but you know that we're not done. It is time for
Stump the host.
all right. So Hunter, you are now only down by 4.
That was 3.
3. It is 3. You're right. It's 3.
Yeah,
My
look at
bad.
that cheating motherfucker.
Like really? If I was really cheating, I would have added numbers when you were almost lost to 10 like a bitch. So how about that?
That's true. That was close.
It was close,
worried.
motherfucker.
I had the upswing.
But with Mike, it's a just
Wait,
a
I saw
swing.
that wink. No.
It's like a pendulum. Is he gonna fucking hit us over the head, or are we gonna get him? So Mike, Hunter won the last 2 times. You get to decide who goes first.
Let's start the show with you.
Fuck.
Pressure's on.
Not really.
I know.
I know. Ugh.
So, The Running Man was full of athletes of every stripe, but only one of them was a professional who played in a league. Which stalker, either actor or character, was that pro athlete?
I don't know, the flying black dude.
You're going to have to
Close.
say a name because I know the name.
I don't know his name.
I believe Hall of Fame running back Jim Brown.
The greatest to ever play the game, yes.
Boom. With the worst hairstyle in that goddamn movie.
It's so bad.
So stupid.
His ridiculous, like, salt
you
and
had the
pepper flat
character
top.
with the blowtorch, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
goddamn Jim
Jim
Brown.
Brown.
All right, so
Yeah.
it's
right.
yours now.
Yep.
All right. Richard Dawson of The Running Man hosted which long-running game show?
Answer says Family Feud.
I didn't watch. Did you watch that?
I just knew that he was in it.
Okay,
These are the
goddamn.
stupid facts that I can remember.
Yeah, I was like, you weren't alive during his OG run of it.
No.
But it was syndicated. So I asked, did you watch
But
that?
that's why I said survey says because yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right, I got one for you. Name one of the musicians to appear in Running Man.
One of the musicians.
Yes, we had many musicians turned actors in that movie.
If so, I never noticed it.
Do I go with Dweezil Zappa or do I go with I believe Mick Fleetwood?
You're also missing the gold record winner, Maria Conchita Alonso.
Yes.
Who?
I don't know, but this is getting pretty
Have you ever
rough.
heard of a band called Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah, the drummer's in that, playing Mick Fleetwood.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what the drummer
Yeah.
looks like.
Yep.
I've
Frank-
only ever
No.
only person I know that what they look like from Fleetwood Mac is Stevie Nicks.
Nothing to lose your head over though, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
And one fun little
Oh.
tidbit with that, he's aged with makeup in that movie, and my God, they got it perfect. Google Mick
He looks-
Fleetwood today,
I was gonna say.
and The Running Man. It's absolutely uncanny.
And Dweezil's Apple is the one wearing the beret, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. And when they're taking the bracelets off.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So you got 3. So if you get one more than that, then we're done.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw you a really, really tough one. Stephen King traded the Secret Window rights away to Columbia in exchange for the rights to make
Wait, no,
which
that is-
TV series based on a Lars von Trier property?
Shit. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Sure. Stephen King traded away the Secret Window rights to Columbia in exchange for the rights to make what TV series based on a Lars von Trier film?
I have no idea.
Oh, Rose Red.
Kingdom Hospital.
Oh, that was. I'm sorry. That was.
Didn't turn out good for him.
No.
I don't know who won
Shit.
that trade.
Ugh, that was shit. All right, so we both got that wrong. Yeah, to me. Yeah.
All right. The Dark Half and Secret Window, according to the notes in 4 Past Midnight, are part of a trilogy on Stephen King's own writing. What's the other one that was adapted into a movie with James Caan?
Misery.
Yes.
Oh, that was a softball.
Why'd you say the James Caan one part? Yeah. He would have gotten it
Because
anyway.
he never would have gotten it
No,
otherwise.
the
It
shitty
could have
part
been The
is that he had
Shining.
so many
Right.
Running Man questions.
I know.
For a movie that is that
I-
shitty. Like, God damn
But
it.
you have watched it recently, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I know all that shit about it because I've only watched it literally like twice in my life.
That's true. when I can tell you the specific scene that Fleetwood's in, that is show my kind of fandom.
That's pretty sad.
I know.
It's not. It's a terrible movie. God.
Nothing to lose your head over, though.
No, I mean I remember him. I remember that line because I thought, oh, that's clever. Right. No, now it's you, and I mean I just want to see if I can get 2 out of this.
John Horton plays the lizard judge in Thinner. In what other Stephen King property does he play a judge?
Mm.
Trying to think of the time period. Fuck. I'll just say Shawshank.
Yes.
I was like, what other movie has a fucking judge in it?
I was going
Green
through.
Mile.
That's why I was like,
oh, well, yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
But that was, wasn't he dead when they made The Green Mile?
I believe so, yeah. I think that was his last film appearance. Yeah, it was Thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think he passed away by the time they made Green Mile. All right, so that was 6, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because you started up.
Yeah,
Yep.
so, all right. Only 2.
Yep. Thank you for all the Running Man questions.
I really like The Running Man. It's so well done.
Yeah.
Apparently,
that's
I do
fun.
too.
That's what fucked me. It was so many Running Man questions. I didn't think you'd have 3 back-to-back Running Man questions. You should have sprinkled them out. I thought you were going to do the book one too. That was fun. That was a fun idea.
Yeah.
You said guess how many you have of each.
I was
each
worried
copy.
because you started naming the character, but you couldn't know it's Jim Brown. I was like, all right.
How
good.
the fuck was I supposed to know it's Jim Brown?
I don't know. I don't even know why I know it's Jim Brown.
Exactly. Like what the fuck? But no, congratulations. You are now only 2 behind.
Oh man,
Getting
Dun,
close.
dun, dun.
Can you pass before the end of the year?
Let's
Because
see.
we've got after this we have 1 in November, and then you will be able to tie. You have a chance to be tied going into the 2025.
All right.
'Cause
That's the
we're
way
not
to
going
do
to
it.
have a full length in October, so.
But I mean, whatever.
You have a chance to tie.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you do it?
Let's see.
You think?
I don't know.
Can you do it? Mm-hmm. Is
Maybe the odds are in my favor. I don't know.
that a Lawrence reference?
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause,
you
you know-
did bring up Hunger Games earlier.
That's what I'm
so,
saying.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mike. As always, thank you.
Thank
for
you. This
your-
was delightful.
Your just Stephen King knowledge. Like I said, that's why. If nothing but this one episode every year, you got to, man. And it sounds like you always have fun talking about it. So I greatly
I
appreciate
love
you
this.
coming on for these. So, truly, man. And for the rest of you guys, until we talk to you again, embrace the madness.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com.